So, okay, let's, because we have got a lot of things and we have got very short time, like only 40-45 minutes, right? So, quickly, we'll start. So, topic today is AI, ML, then chatbot, IoT, and blockchain. So, without wasting much time, so these are all emerging technologies. So, I would like all our speakers to get equal opportunity to speak about their experience on this. So, I would like to basically ask all of you. The first question is like, how is your journey with this emerging technologies? So, you can talk about maybe artificial intelligence. Somebody can talk about blockchain implementation and all those things. So, I will start with you, and then probably we will go one by one. So, yeah, please.
Thanks, Utpal. So basically, if you look at the journey of the set of technologies, I think each one of them will obviously take more than, I would say, half an hour. So I will keep it brief. So basically, the way I look at it, in any technology, especially AI and blockchain or IoT, basically there are two things we are looking at these technologies to deliver. The one is what we call customer centricity. The customer centricity, what does it mean? It means knowing your customer better, and then making it possible for him to have relevant deals. And not only that, the UI, if you look at it, the way customer is interacting in different channels, whether it is mobile banking or online banking, can we really customize it according to his needs? So for example, somebody usually looks at his dashboard every time, but once his salary is deposited, he goes into bill payment. So if you know that the salary has been deposited, can we bring the bill payment forward? Otherwise, possibly he has to do 2-3 clicks to get there. Similar other examples, I think Utpal and I are discussing. One was related to, let's say, you want to offer a KFC deal to a guy, but you know the guy is vegetarian, then obviously deal doesn't make sense, right? So this is the customer centricity part, and I can go on for the sake of time. I think I'll stop there. The other part, apart from customer centricity, is the internal processes, right? So that is related to, let's say, reduction of the fraud. So at this moment, if you look at it, in most of the banks, frauds are static rule-based systems. So if you know customers' data, customers' behavior, can we really detect fraud in a better manner, right? And end of the day, you can say it is related to customer centricity as well, because obviously reduction of the fraud will help his experience also. So broadly, I would say these two things. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So I think I'll request you to please put some light on that and your experience.
Sure. Morning, everyone. So a couple of things before I talk about these technologies. Why these technologies are required? If I talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, primary thing is analytics. From any organization point of view, it's marketing analytics, financial analytics, and customer analytics. How you can do it? It's been done earlier with the big data coming in, data being available at large. You needed a more, better processing and better decision-making techniques, so that it helps you, like I mentioned, customer centricity, understanding your customer better, so that you can leverage upon the information that's available to you, and also you'll be able to do a cross-sell, upsell, and customer service better. With artificial intelligence and machine learning coming into picture, we are not getting more and deeper into the technology at what level is there right now. But the important thing is that you can identify the behavior of the segment basis the data that you have, and basis that you can have a right decisioning done. So this is when I talk about AI and machine learning. Be it underwriting, credit decisioning, all these places where you can definitely make use of machine learning very well, and it's being implemented. I'm really happy about these two technologies. The reason I'm talking about right now these two technologies is that they are coming to the maturity stage in India. People are using it, and I can see the good use of it. I think we have been hearing about big data for the last 10 years, last 3-4 years really matured in India. That's a stepping stone for getting into the machine learning and AI. That's one area. The second area, IoT. That's another thing with the configurable devices available at very low cost, and with IP6 coming into picture and all. It's really helping to have a IoT implemented. The IoT enabled services are so many being used. Good maturity of that. Fourth point is blockchain. That's one area which I think there's a long way to go. That's what I can say right now. Technology is there, technology is matured, adoption of that technology. That's where I'm I'm seeing everyone into the pilot stage except for one or two banks in Singapore who are done and used it to good level. But others are still at the pilot stage. We'll come to that later, but the next.
I think it's a very elite point, like how industry has. In fact, my next question is on that: how industry has adopted these new technologies, and also another point that you have brought is basically using ML and all those things. So now people are basically, because all those technologies are basically evolving. So mostly if you look at the organizations are now trying to build a ecosystem of artificial intelligence technologies. So wherein what they can do, they can speech recognition services as Google is good today, but tomorrow you see Microsoft will come up with some better one. So that's the valid point. With that, I will go to our next speaker. See if you can.
Thanks. So good morning, one and all. First of all, I'd like to thank elets for giving the opportunity to be part of such a prestigious event. Regarding journey and roadmap, I like to put it in different way. I guess those are days gone when all the players, especially in the banking, BFSI, that they will be able to make the money in the same way. There will be something called fragmentation of service. It will be prominent, but maybe not a key driver. What we need to think is like differentiated and different value chain. There will be something called collaboration, competition, and disruptive business offering. In a simple word, there will be another industrialization of financial service. I like to put it in more simpler form. Let's take example of bank. What they used to Again, I am repeating, that will be identity, information and experience. And to mapping these traditional things to something called new generation thing, these all kind of technologies will be help. For example, if I want to create ecosystem, AI and ML kind of thing will come into picture. If I want to connect to outside world to inside world, or maybe offline or connected device kind of thing, IoT will comes into picture. If I'm looking for something called real-time enterprisation, collaboration marketplace, blockchain will come into picture. If I want something like interactive kind of thing, chatbot will come into picture. So I guess my submission is like digital transformation since last decade or so. It's been humongous growth, and in the future, so we cannot think like, kind of growth it will be there.
Absolutely, very true. Yeah, so you can pass on to your next speaker.
Yeah, good morning to all. Coming to each point, whatever the other respected discussed. First one is what is the journey into our organization, how it is applicable. So because we are being a startup, I don't think any of these things we have started, but we are planning in the future how to do it. The first one, which will be very use case, will be the chatbots. So we are starting already, it is under the development stage. So from there, the journey will start from the first point of communication from the customer. As long as AI, ML, whatever we talk, unless it is delivered to the end customer seamlessly, the way Rishi said, key identity and whatever the customer this thing, then only it is useful. Theory maybe into the paper and books only. Now, how you is going to take it up? So one of the last recent previous conference also somebody was saying, every chatbot, every interaction with the customer has to be in the local language. Local. And that local language also with the accent of that particular area. So I like that beautiful concept. Because we are not thinking, we are thinking only the technology in the rooms we are discussing, but at the ground level, end customer. It could be a liability customer, or it is a microfinance customer, it could be a student, it could be SME, whoever is there. There are so many SMEs also, people even not illiterate, they will not educated, but they are doing a huge loans they are taking. So how they interact with us? how they will, what you can say, avoid the fraudulent, or there is no the middle person should not make them take it for advantage. So I feel that end customer point of view, you have to do the reverse. Yesterday also one of the panels respected speaker was saying. So that is what coming to all these technologies. So to answer to the answer to the question, we are starting with the chatbots, and then we slowly will learn and we implement those things as we grow from the individual, the organization of myself. Coming to the second thing, how it is being taken into adoption into the market and acceptance. Right now, still even Deepak and everybody is mentioned ki some of the technologies taken to some maturity level, but put together the end result, as long as customer is satisfied, then only the fruitfulness will come.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
So,
hi.
please.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So I would like to, highlight a few things out here. Now I'm with Jana Small Finance Bank for last 4 months, and there are some cases here which we are looking at seriously. Before this, I had hands-on experience on ML in my previous role, which also I will highlight a little bit. And the third thing I will touch upon is that what I think I have been following this for last 3-4 years, and what I see that organizations need, what is the organizational readiness from people and also from the cultural perspective. Some of these things are good to talk about, but are we ready for this? See, currently we are looking at application of artificial intelligence and chatbots, primarily for the automation and elimination of the manual tasks at the service desk, internal, which is for my employees, not for my customers right now. Because my customers is a challenge right now. My customers are the ones who will not be really ready to, interact on the chatbots. They are in the groups and they are like from the microfinance background. Now launched to the banking, and we will see how that evolves, and then we will think of launching the chatbots for them. But what we see is that there is, we have almost 200, 300 plus workforce which is working on the service desk, which is basically to serve our own people who are facing a lot of issues doing various things. It may be gap in the process, or it may be gap in the movement of data from here to there. We have figured out that there is we can do 30 to 40% elimination of this effort by introducing the artificial intelligence layer, RPA, in between. So this is something seriously we are working upon, and very soon we are going to have that in place. Now, before this, so this is about, what kind of rules we build, how do we understand our processes well, and then how do we, have these intelligent agents in between who can take care. Now, when we come to the machine learning thing, before this, I had noticed a unique challenge. It was about SME lending. So for SME, it was almost 5 years old kind of SME lending history in that organization. And what I figured out is that not in a very systematic way, a lot of data was getting captured while onboarding the customer, about the customer. However, it was not being captured structurally into the system, and the analysis done were on the business parameters primarily, not on the predictive parameters. So what happens is the organizations go into analytics, and mostly it is about the business KPIs. What is my collection doing? What is my dispersal doing? And the various cuts of that. But the predictive parameter of that is that if my NPA, if my 90 plus book today is so and so, next month is it going to, where it is going to be? Are those customers are going to be 90 plus or 90 minus? So we applied that. It was difficult to report the data. So hence what I want to highlight here is that the management of data. You talk about all of this, ML, AI, chatbots, but the data management within the organization has to be robust before you embark on this journey is number one. Number two is that some of these innovations, and if you are into the pressure of you want the result from tomorrow in terms of ROI, it is going to be difficult.
Absolutely.
So the leadership, the organization has to have that mindset.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree with you, and you have brought a very important thing, the automation part of it. So definitely there is a automation element to it, But again, I mean, what value actually it is bringing to the table? It is not only cutting the cost or cutting the manual effort and all those things. So that also need to be considered. And as you told, like the data platform is very, very important because any kind of ML or deep learning models would run on that data. So making that data available and consumable by the machine learning models or deep learning models is very, very important. So that is very, very, so we'll pass to our next speaker. So yeah, Mr. Suresh, so he is a well-known speaker basically. And yeah, please throw some light on this.
Good morning, everyone. To start with, since it's a morning, like we heard like Goa programs, all programs AI says they start late only. They ended up late because it's nothing to do with the program, it's more to do with Goa. That's what they said from artificial intelligence. And another thing from casino point of view, majority of the people who lose money are the bankers only, who come and play for it. So this is an equation of Goa about us, since BFSI, whatever. To come back to the topic where, that's what I mentioned yesterday also to state, we are moving from corporate digital towards customer digital. Every individual customer is going to be a corporate and we are going to try to take to them as technology. And if you see like three major areas going to have very big disruption, at least in India, part of behaviors, where we expect office timings are going to change, where if you want to attract a rural crowd, you have to start at 5:45 and close the bank at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, and again you should start in the afternoon after 3 and go till 7. Those kind of things are going to get disrupted if you are going to attract and go towards rural and we are trying to operate. Today this 10 to 5 is not the time where the chatbots, what are currently we have communication with the rural customers, they say they are not available during this time. So those are the areas now which we have to improvise and technology has to play a role, and it's going to surely play because even in metros we don't have enough traffic jam. So 5:45 to 8 and again afternoon 3 to 7 or 3 to 8 are going to be a big challenge, but that's what it's expected and it's going to have very clear cut and how many organizations are prepared or how many organizations are having that kind of skill sets where people can try to operate. So first is the disruption in the way of working, style of working is going to have very big impact because of the behavioral pattern getting changed and the kind of technology is currently available to support that. The second is on the skill sets, we are very, very weak on that, where we can even support sitting here globally some other organizations, but when it comes to internal, we do have something to do with more of feel and touch, which is very much expected, which is very weak currently. And if you see customization in terms of all the technologies are supporting more of a regulators or a governance, we are very poor support in terms of customer engagement and getting customer feels on that. So that's going to improvise and that's going to bring out more disruption. And technology is going to work on reach and speed. How to ensure like all the parts of India, like how we are going to reach internally and get the speedy service. So the disruption is going to be more on skill sets. Again, disruption is going to be more on how to do feel and touch. It should continue. That's what whenever we talk about technology in India, majority people argue to us to say whether manpower is going to be taken a problem or manpower is going to have an issue. It's nothing to do with the manpower. Feel and touch will continue to be executed through manpower only. It's required. If you change technology, dramatically India will go through a drama where it's not so easy to access it all. So if you see from the office timings, skill sets of the people and the feel and touch learn to add, then next is security. In India, security plays major role in terms of culture and value system. Until those things are not converted to digital, it's going to matter a lot. For example, what we say, when you say biometrics is only a few people know from the organization just to capture some analog to digital, digital to analog and goes back. But when you get into rural India, they have enough means and ways of how such frauds can happen, how they can use it. That's what getting biometrics information is very, very difficult from customers. I have 4 million customers, hardly people give biometrics.
Absolutely.
So these are the things going to be disruptive and how technology is going to create trust and creating that E factor where less of electronics, more of emotions and how we can use that disruptive technology.
Absolutely. So already there are some known areas like in banking and finance. So chatbot is one area everybody knows. Similarly, like robo-advisors. So there are many flavors of robo-advisors basically. Then for high-speed trading, okay, and then maybe for anti-money laundering and any kind of financial crimes. So these are some of the areas where already AI and all other technologies are used. But my question to the panel is basically like, how do you see? I mean, what is the adoption level of those things in India and basically in our banking system and kind of thing? So I'll start with you and then maybe
Thanks. So basically, adoption level, as I look at it, we are talking about a bunch of technologies here, right? So obviously, the levels will be different in different areas. So for example, if I take AI, one application of AI, as I was mentioning, is to understand customer better. Now, if you look at it, there are few areas which, in my opinion, it is working pretty well, right? So, for example, because I come from the digital side of banking, where customers are interacting with me mainly using their mobile app, not even online banking, we're talking about mobile app here. So, one of the prominent problem is, in some cases, they will download the app, but they will not use it for a long time, or they will not even register. We call it app abandonment. So, why they are doing it? Why they are stuck? Maybe the other bridge, the authentication did not work and they gave it up. So basically, we can now identify why customer is stuck and we can provide relevant help. So in that area, I think we are pretty much there. But if you ask me about what about giving them relevant deals, I think we still have a long way to go. I think in the one example that I was giving was offering a vegetarian guy a non-veg meal, right? So I think in that area, it is slightly at the experimental level, mainly because whether we have enough data elements to take a call, and also as they say it, right, it sounds a bit full of jargon, but it's important. So it looks, they talk about giving relevancy, we can understand, but it has to be contextual also. At what point in time I really would like to, I as a customer really would like to look for a deal, right? And also it has to be non-intrusive. I'm in the meeting now, I don't want to take a call, or I don't want to get a deal right now, it's of no use. So those detailing, I think, as AI will progress, we get more data, we spend more time on understanding neural network better, I think we'll definitely make some progress. Now same thing goes for chatbot. If you look at chatbot, I think almost all the banks have chatbot, but more often than not, it is like taking data from frequently asked question and answering back. So for example, if I ask, what is the interest rate, it does not have a clue, right? Ideally speaking, what I am looking at, if I ask what is the interest rate, in a conversational manner, you should reply back. Are you talking about credit card? Are you talking about home loans? Meaning the way a human being can sense the context and go layer by layer. So again, there's a lot of investment going on the deep learning side of it. Traditional ML models like SBM and the regression model does not work that well. We are spending a lot of time on deep learning models. I hope in the future we will see that we can have a truly conversational chatbot. At this moment, it is one answer, one question, one answer. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point. Basically, so in the banking system, if a chatbot need to work in a proper manner, so you need a domain vocabulary for that. Okay, so without that domain vocabulary, it will not understand the banking terminologies or something like that. Similarly, there should be a feedback mechanism. Okay, so it is not always possible that chatbot will be able to answer everything. So, but there should be something which will go into the exception queue, and you can map it back to the ML model, saying that okay, these are the exceptions, and you have to deal these exceptions in that way. So that's a very valid thing. Yeah. So please, you can share your experience on.
Sure. Yeah. We are NBFC, and we have 8-year-old data with us for the customers for the last 8 years. Prior to joining NBFC, I was at the bank, and bank had the data for the last 20 plus years. And the difference here, how the banks are positioned so well to use AI and ML to their best advantage. Banking, you have deposits, you have credit cards, you have treasury, you have all the financial services that are there for the customer. So you know what exactly gets debited into his account, what gets created in his credit card, what kind of spend he's doing, what kind of customer. So when you talk about customer analytics, bank has a complete information about the customer. When the customer ki kundli unke paas hai. That's if I put it this way. So in the bank, it's very easy for us to implement the machine learning and AI to get the best advantage for any of the decisioning that you want to do. And with NBFC, what I'm finding a difference is I have my data which is very limited related to the retail lending. This is where we are trying to implement the machine learning. The challenges here is that what are the demographics and the information that's available, how best we can do the characteristics of the customer and segmentation of the customer. That's one area I see challenge which we are facing. I know as we grow, as we get more information, more data, more customers, I'll keep on improving the model that we have created right now. So just to, on artificial intelligence, I just want to make one statement here, no offense to anyone. A couple of years back, when I was working for a bank and there the AI project was not taking off. So my boss at that point in time, without naming, he asked, क्या हो रहा है, AI क्यों नहीं चल रहा है? So statement I said that, yeah, artificial intelligence is not working right now because natural stupidity is coming in between. So, okay, that's data the processor and those things. But that's AI and this thing. I'll just stop here, talk about things, blockchain.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So when it comes to adoption, let me throw some lights. As of now, I guess in the world, almost 200 to 250 billion devices has been connected, offline, online. We are expected to grow by 100 to 200% in coming few years. India is also no exception. Almost it contributes to 2 to 3% of the all device. Maybe that may be around roughly 10 million, maybe not 10 million, 3 billion, maybe 3 to 4 billion. We have expected to grow 9 to 10 billion devices. AI and blockchain, or combine of, or MLs, or combine of each one of, we are expected to go by 30 to 35%. That's just the expected figure. So do we have any option? Any organization going ahead will like to measure the digital effort, strengthen the digital service as per their competitor, and embed the digital innovation to come up with the disruptive offering. In order to achieve this, I don't think we should be either leader or lagger, but an adoption has to be there. So we don't have any other option. Yeah, we have to be little cautious while adopting the things, because at times what happened that we have come up, we have taken some technology for some purpose, and till last moment we are not able to exploit the same until that time version 2.0 comes. So we have to be a little smart in that case. But yes, adaptation is a key, and even my organization also in line what I can say with the industry per se.
With respect to the adoption, maybe in the entire panel or entire group, so we are the smallest, what do you want to say, youngest organization. So it's only 9 months old. So whatever Deepak mentioned and even Mr. Manoj also mentioned, capturing of the data with the sense was not there. Maybe not because of ignorance or negligence, because of the way traditionally data is captured. So what we are doing, learning from the market. We are capturing the data, the way is not with the subjective, with objective. Having not just focus on demographics, we have to take the data in such a way so that my predict my future analysis can be done in a better way. Then only all these technologies can be adapted. Otherwise it will be just like a name, mobile number, PAN number. That is the only data is available. So how to get the data, that is one of the challenges for adoption. Second thing, unless I don't lay the foundation very strong, there is no point in discussing about putting very high floors. So the people who are already gone, they have to redesign such a way that they will adopt these technologies into this. Then again, Deepak also mentioned, Suresh also mentioned, cultural plus natural stupidity. Humans as well, whatever is there. These two also, these barriers we have to overcome. Then only this adoption can be fruitful. So how it has happened, it is organized to organization, and even Rishi also mentioned very valid point. There is no leader and lagger, we have to be there. There is no option, otherwise you will be washed out. So how much percentage I have to be there to survive is a smart way of the organization, how much capacity, manpower, spend, time to adapt, implement. So these all the things will go in hand. So only thing is, because we are very under an organization, is only last year when we started, I have a lot of opportunity to put the foundation in very smart manner. So we are doing that. Definitely all these technologies, I will try to adopt to my organization very smarter way, with a less expenditure, more output. Yes, thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, so one part is definitely this new areas, okay? The another part would be bringing intelligence into your enterprise system. So there are many areas in your enterprise system wherein you want to bring that kind of a smartness or intelligence using kind of thing. So, I mean, probably you can talk a little bit of that also.
So I think there is no choice. Okay. So banks have to work intelligently. And I think banks are best positioned, as Deepak also said, because number one, banks have data, and number two, the banking processes are such that intelligence can be derived out of that, and a significant layer can be used through AI kind of technology. So banks, it is a boon for banking, per se, I would say. Now the thing is that banks and institutions always think that, should we be the first adopter, what? So pros and cons. And this thinking keeps going, number one, inhibitor. Second inhibitor is that the traditional teams, so I would say X and Y, while we need to keep the lights on, and that's our sole responsibility, first responsibility, as part of the leadership in these organizations, we definitely need to have a very solid team on X, which is about the core systems and keeping the lights on, making sure that the core business priorities are delivered through the changes and things like that. But at the same time, a different mindset is required to look at it a little abstract and little differently from outside. Where it's not only about the technology, it's also about understanding of the processes well, and having an innovative mindset, having a statistical bend of mind where you can think of that, what kind of data. So like for example, I was just discussing a couple of days back and we were talking about the helpless effectiveness. And one of the things we said that this is a very simple game because the help desk at certain level is supposed to respond within 15 minutes. So hence, if you go into a little bit of statistics, you can easily see what is your real deviation, what is your variance and things like that. What I mean to say is that you need to have very critical, you need to incubate that into the organization. Whether you have whatever level of data you have, let them start making sense of that data. And it's not only about making sense of that data, but let them also understand that, identify the opportunities in discussion with your businesses, process people, to see that where they can start helping automating, and let it start in the small, steps. So the third thing, I would say that the chatbot is more of like you mentioned, it is one of the solo game. It is just, a conversation that happens at one point in time. Now this has to really be integrated thing, where it is not only about having the conversation, making sense out of it, intelligence out of it, raising enough alarms, alerts, things like that, giving feedback back to the system. So that's important, and that is where I think industry has to go.
Absolutely. So he has brought a very interesting point. So in a banking environment, again, we don't want chatbot to have the conversation to go in any direction. We want the conversation to be restricted in a particular manner. So that is again challenge. So nowadays we have got systems wherein I can train my chatbot with say 2 years of tweeted data. So it will learn all the conversation kind of thing. But in a banking environment, we don't want that kind of chatbot. So there are challenges also in terms of that. So if you have an NLP engine, and your NLP engine is capable of generating natural language of its own in that way, but in a banking environment, it may not fly. Because you want your conversation in a particular way, right? So Suresh, probably you can add.
Actually, the main factor is what more to do with corporates versus customer, where how we can create that concept of trust. Okay, that's where this is all coming around. If you see from banking perspective, banking, one side bankers, mediated dealers, homes, or the customers. So until these three entities are engaged with the technology, which ensures the fast, speedier solutions. And again, it takes care of the purpose of that demand. Today, innovation, what's happening is if something is there, so we are able to use it. And in India, Jugaad model, whatever is available, we are trying to adopt to that. Rather than let the purpose define what is that expected out of finance, what is expected out of the customer, so that an earn-to-pay model, that we can make them to earn so that he can pay for us. If you put out that, it comes out to have something called a belief prediction is working on with the trust with the bankers, and that behaviors, whatever is between the banker and the customer, trying to capture as much information, it should be real, it should not be general to all sectors or even all verticals. A transporter will have different, farmers will have different, even in small skills industries will have different, how we are trying to capture such systems, and we should go back to them faster. But if you engage all those things part of transformation, are we equipped in terms of understanding these things and how things are going to get material to them? That's why it starts saying, like, when you say digital, how much people really know what is digital? What is the actual difference? Very few people know, even in IT, what is digital, what is IT. Even very senior people can question that they are not even clear about what is digital and what is IT. If such things are going to be, again, these people are going to deliver technology solutions to the end customer, it's going to be a big challenge for us to try to bring it out from the skill set point of view. Like recently take a survey when NBFCs were eligible to convert as bank, the major issue was that how many NBFCs are equipped in technology to be a bank next day. Then the emerged information is what, since you call the other side flexibility or whatever it is, NBFCs do have some technologies, but they are not matured enough like banks. Then shall we think about that, what our regulators we are talking about today, let them work out some standards and let the cloud model work out as data centers. First, let NBFCs get into such data centers and start practicing. They will be anyway eligible to be part of IT. When the regulators say, can we get changing to a bank, or how frequent we can do, so the duration will be faster and the standardization will be across. But today the culture, if we see like the NBFCs beyond technology, it has its own phrase of working, patterns of working. So if you are not able to understand and trying to put it out, today you continue to say as digital, continue to say as from banking, and disruption happens on the other side. Only very few people who have known about or understood, they are able to make it, but again they are able to make it 40%, 50%. So how to make it 100%? So this all has to be questioned more, even from an organization perspective, how they are ready, if at all, even if it comes as a disruption, or even a normal transformation. Okay, they were going to get into some phases, still such materials are going to work out, such share and care model. That's what we are saying. How much we can do that share and care model, and which is a unique proposition to the customers, which is part of the digital is going to work out more rather than having individualities or trying to bring out some small value system, but the core which we are losing and the trust between customer and the corporates, it has to be think and reworked out, and if required even we should think like whether these things are required in future to run such a big units which doesn't matter a lot for the customer or not going to add value to the finance system.
Absolutely. So that's a very important thing in fact. So I've got two more questions, but I think I will club those together looking at the time constraint. So, and also we have already discussed mainly on AI part of it. So we have got other things also like IoT, blockchain and all these things. So I think probably in this question you people can touch upon some of those things. So now we have got fintech companies here. So what I would like to ask you is, how do you see it? I mean, what is there in your roadmap? If you can give some idea, because these people will also come to know, or what kind of value that it can bring to your organization, kind of thing. And what is the future of this kind of technologies, that is disruptive technologies, basically? So I will start with you, and then we'll go in the same fashion.
So technically, I do not work for fintech, but still in.
There are fintech people there, so that they can get some idea what is there in your roadmap, kind of thing. So probably this is a good platform to discuss all these things.
Sure. So I think thanks for the clarification. So basically, the way I look at it, I started by saying customer centricity. Another way of looking at it is delivering banking services to the customers whenever and wherever they want it, right? So if you look at the transition, that is of course my personal view. If you look at it, we started with only possibly one channel, which was branch. Then we went into ATM, then the online banking, then mobile banking. Now what you are saying is there is no fixed channel as such, right? I mean, whenever they want, whether they are in the social media and all of a sudden they realize, well, suppose one fine day you and I are chatting and you believe you need to pay me $100 or 100 rupees for that matter. So you do not have to open the app and do it. In the channel itself, can you make a payment happen, right? And another point of looking at it is basically, let's say you are interacting with your device at your home. Let's say Alexa, Google Home are coming up. Now, Alexa's adoption in India is slightly lower as of now. In Singapore and other mature countries, it is definitely more, but I believe it is picking up. So the point is actually not about Alexa or social media. The point is, whatever channels customers are using for their day-to-day interaction, can we make banking almost invisible, right? Because if you look at it, a payment happening is only the execution part. By the time the guy has already decided to make a payment, right? So for that, just to execute it, he has to go to some other area or some other app and do it. Can we just take it out, right? So that will be an interesting journey. I'm not sure how it will spell out, because it is easy for me to say anywhere, but obviously from the banking viewpoint, we need to be absolutely confident about protecting our customers' data. We need to think about confidentiality aspects. Many of the social media platforms may not be mature enough few of the media, I mean the chatbots, like not chatbots, I mean the messaging platform like WhatsApp, they decided to open up digital payments themselves. So obviously there will be some frictions here, but I think overall if you look at it, that will be the final goal, where banking is completely invisible. That's what we personally believe.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, I would like to touch base upon blockchain. It's another subject close to my heart.
Yeah, that would be great. That would be
I've been
great.
working on this for the last 2 years, creating paper for the banking industry and all. Thing is, take big data, then AI, ML. If you really look at these technologies coming in, the adoption of those technologies happening. So like AI, ML was a quick one to roll out compared to the big data. Big data is there for the last 10 years. But it has taken some time to come to the mature state and being adopted by the organizations worldwide, especially I'm talking about India. So let's talk about adoption in India and the larger organizations in larger scale. That's purely one reason. If I look at it, there are too many, let's put it this way, too many animal names were coming in between from 2008, 9, 10, 11, you know. Slowly then it got matured and we have come to a stage where we know that blindly we can go ahead and implement a big data infrastructure. I'll use the word infrastructure. Similar case with blockchain. Fantastic technology, fantastic platform. We should adopt it. In fact, when CKYC was rolled out, ideally I would have preferred at that point in time, we would have put CKYC on the blockchain platform. It was little late. By the time the CKYC entire policy was rolled out, blockchain came little later. It was there, but prominence was little later. Otherwise, just look at it. CKYC implemented with blockchain. Distributed ledgers. Each and every organization, each and every bank, all the KYC document of their own customers lie with them, but this is in the blockchain ecosystem. So the owners are clearly defined. Data is available, more secured fashion. It's available for every other organization to view it. So you don't have to do uploads, downloads. All the concerns that are there with CKYC taken care of. Unfortunately, CKYC platform was already developed by it and the blockchain had come to some maturity stage. That's one area which I really feel bad. But if you look at the blockchain use case, let's take the example of HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank, HDFC Life, HDFC Ergo. Okay, why the challenge what you are facing, why the blockchain is not getting implemented pan organizations is purely because of the architecture and the platform that's available. As far as the interoperability of these platforms is done, I think we'll have this challenge. It has to be, that's one area to be proven for the large scale implementations. Otherwise, with the blockchain implementation, one of my dream pilot project was that if someone has some, someone's, how should I put it? In one family, if someone dies, person with the LIC policy goes to HDFC Life. This is what has happened. That because of the blockchain, entire ecosystem done, immediately any compensation that needs to be there for this relative gets into the bank's account. That kind of an ecosystem I'm looking at with blockchain, and I'm sure that blockchain will take us to that kind of a platform where everything is seamlessly integrated.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. When it comes to roadmap, I guess there are a lot of parameters. Looking at the time constraint, I like to focus on engagement. So for engagement, what I need to do is I need to discover something, I need to explore, I need to buy, use, ask, and then engage. So if I restrict myself to the engagement per se in my roadmap, I guess I'll be pretty more successful in coming future. I won't be going into the exact parameters in depth because of the time constraint. And it has been very goody discussion. So I like to little counter my colleague regarding blockchain. Well, this is very complicated term, but then during my engineering days, I used to learn in networking. There is something called ring topology, and there is something called star topology. Most of the engineers might be just recap the things. So what we are here in ecosystem, banking ecosystem, for example, we are so far into the something called star topology. Star, NPCI, RBI, or maybe IRDI, they are the central and we are connected to different nodes. Star topology. Advantage, definitely we are getting a lot of advantage. Performance, we are getting impacted. Interoperability, we are able to achieve, but then we are not able to innovate much. That is the disadvantage of star topology. And blockchain, what my colleague has said, it's all about ring topology. Decentralized, distributed. Okay, so over here is like, it's very easy to say, of course, it will has its own benefits, we can get the fruits of it, we can get the best out of it, but then if something goes wrong, it has the multiplier effect among the ecosystem. If someone, in case someone upload a wrong KYC or something happened wrong with trade finance, these are the prominent area where in blockchain currently we are using KYCs and trade finance, and it will come further also. If something goes wrong, we don't know how it will go wrong. It's very easy to say that everyone will authorize, every player will have these and that, but something goes wrong. A kind of multiplier effect and a kind of negativity and kind of ecosystem failure we cannot imagine. That is available, that is controllable in our, what you call star topology kind of thing. That is my submission. If we keep on speaking the entire day, maybe the less in this kind of technology, but my submission is little bit of against the, little, means we have to, when we go, that doesn't mean we should go backward. We have to go ahead, but then we have to be smart enough while adopting.
Absolutely. No, every technology per se comes with kind of advantages as well as this kind of what you call short pros, and we have to deal with that in that manner. So yeah, please.
Yeah. So the other panel members there are two different directions. Tushi and Deepak is what I said. Unless there is a friction, unless there is a debate, the solution won't come out. Otherwise, there is no point in multiple people talking the same subject. That is the outcome you have to take. So coming to this, I'll take one example extended to Deepak. Example now, irrespective of NBFC or bank or any financial institution who is doing. Example, I'll take one example of bureau. Suppose I am having 4 bureaus in India, which is already accepted by CIBIL, Equifax, Water, Experian and IMAR. For inquiry, I have to get connected. I have to use the API, blah blah, whatever the connectivity mechanism is there. For again, I have to do an upload of my data to them. It is humongous task. Some of the integrators have come, aggregators, they are making money. You give it to me, I will give it to them. They are doing that is only, they are only doing routing. But finally coming to the blockchain or whatever the technology, I am not mentioning in specific. Why should I do this? Why can't I have a centralized place on a click of a button, I can do view, I can update. For view also, why I have to do connectivity? Why? That is a major problem. So one of the forums I raised with CIBIL also, see they have the same, sorry to use that word, they have their own processes which won't allow us. This is what the answer came from them. Now second thing, when these people submit the data to submission also, there is again the frequencies are there. You have to submit monthly. Why? Same day immediately I will submit my data. No? Why are not accepting the data? So these things you have to see, these are the use cases. Technology, the permits, if the technology may not be matured, but start the journey. I am very too small a person to even talk about this. But this is the cases where everybody will benefit. Maybe in India, I don't know how many thousands of NBFCs banks are interacting with them, with all the 4. So the way he said that startup is a 182, NCR, whatever, NCN, whatever the factorial. So those things we have to adapt and we have to benefit entire the industry. This is one of the things where we can take the road. Why I am telling? Because I am startup, I am struggling to get the connectivity, so it struck my mind. That is one. Second thing, end use case. Suppose anybody, I think everybody is here, the Ola, Uber users. Suppose in a week, particular time, you go home, office, whatever, na, it will show that time this is your day. Are you this destination will come up. If you are in Bombay, second time you come to Bombay, but the time to check it out. So purposely what I did, I made some small experiment. We started, my office was in Armand Point. My new office, old office, new office was in the suburbs. What I did, 3 days I went there. I made it 3 days, I travelled to the old office. Last 3 days I travelled to the new office because it is still under construction. After 2 weeks, the day it takes, if Thursday I am going to this office, automatically Thursday it will show that office. You can experiment this. So I am not talking about all AI, machine learning, blah blah, big things. In a small common sense, end user will be very happy to see, I know this day. If you change that, after that it will take 20 to some days is there. After that it will start learning its own. Nobody programming that, backend. System understands. Suppose the pattern it runs, that is called learning. It will have its own intelligence to learn. That end use, simple use case has to be in every application system. Definitely we achieve whatever we thought of. Thank you.
So I think I I concur with him to the point that, when we talk about blockchain, primarily I see that to derive a synergy. Now to derive a synergy, do I have to really invest and create that cell within my organization and keep waiting for the enough trust to happen among the organizations to go to that level? My message to the fintechs would be that could there be, they could probably focus in these areas where they can provide this as a service. So, like Deepak said, KYC, right? If there is a fintech which specializes on this, and just open the API, probably they can help in a big way in, understanding the risk that we are undertaking, risk at the customer level and risk at different levels. So this is one thing that you all probably they can focus on, which is about helping multiple banking and financial institutions, and they can just specialize in that. The second thing is about the big data. See, big data primarily I see for organizations like us is to best understand and cover our risk. Now here too, there are agencies which specializes in creating and owning that big data, which can be used by us. So I think we really have to harness in these areas. We have not done much, but yeah, the time is right, and there are building blocks also.
Very true, yeah.
See, I have a different, from the researcher angle. First of all, blockchain is a technology brought into picture against banks. The customers, buyer and seller who are not interested in using our current traditional system didn't like it and they introduced that. So that means what is a threat for us, as a challenge for us to do it. The startups, what are today they are introducing, are those challenges for the banks who are for more than 100 years, 120 years. So now it's a threat, we should try to convert as opportunity, and we should start thinking such angles, and banks should come afraid. And they should start introducing those other things for the banks so that we can avoid such getting adoption, or whether blockchain will work for us, or it's a set of ledgers, everybody put that way. But rather than it's like a buyer and seller didn't like that traditional method they introduced. The introduction of Bitcoin, whatever you say, that community doesn't like our operations. So it's a very big threat. I should see as an opportunity, but try to build so that such things can be avoided in future. And I don't know the names, what are it's going to come and it's going to put us in trouble. Are we going to just follow somebody else? If not, then shall we start doing something else so that let us introduce such things. Let us go, like it's between corporates and the customer, how to make a lifelong engagement and the trust is built. It's so simple, but it matters a lot until the practices or whatever we call is not accepted from the other side. It's going to be challenged. So in the interest of time, I would say select the technology which is more relevant to us, then we are complete. Don't select a technology which is not relevant, then we are finished. You select a technology which is relevant, which is complete, but if you are not able to mature getting into the system, we are completely finished. So try to conclude saying like, select a technology which matters a lot and relevant to our business and takes us to the next level.
Absolutely. So I think we are already running out of time. So I'm not in a position to take, or we can take maybe one.
We are already available offline.
Yeah, we are available. So I thank all our panelists for this wonderful discussion, and thank you. Thanks for